I'm Sukriti, your host for this wonderful evening. A warm welcome to all our special guests, delegates, distinguished speakers, and our dear participants to the grand finale ceremony of the world's largest coding contest, the Guinness Book of World Records holder, and the Limca Book of Record holder, TechGig Code Gladiators. I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to all those who've made this event possible. Most importantly, our corporate partners, the pillars of strength who've supported us in our journey so far. Our location and recruitment partner, HPE, hackathon partners, Microsoft and Dockery, diversity hackathon partner, Microsoft, our platinum associate, Infogain, diamond partner, Allstate India, silver participant, special category, IndiaMart, Coolroot Group, and Harris, and our community partners, Silicon India, Google Cloud Developers, CoWork, and Analytic. Before the evening unfolds with its exciting segments, let's raise a toast and a huge round of applause for completing 10 years of Code Gladiators. I'm proud to be a part of this wonderful journey that has successfully connected with more than 200 tech brands and 15 lakh plus developers. I would like to take a moment to thank everyone who has helped make this competition possible over the past 10 years. The participants, the judges, the volunteers, and the corporate partners all have played a vital role in making this event a huge success. This competition has grown and evolved over the past 10 years, and we're proud to be a part of this community as we look forward to continuing to grow and evolve in the years to come. Talking about this year's edition, with 3.15 lakh registrations, Code Gladiators 2023 soared high with coding hustle over 90 days, and will conclude today with the declaration of winners in every category. I would like to point out that although more than 13,000 participants moved to the semifinals, only 2,400 participants made it to the grand finale. Today, as we've assembled here and also joined by so many of you virtually, this special evening, we bring you a host of IT thought leaders and innovators to talk about technology, tech careers, and much more. And as the day will conclude, we will also see the crowning of mighty programmers who fought tooth and nail, using their technological genius, grit, and determination to write some of the best coding algorithms. Guys, don't forget to share this moment with your friends and peers on social media using hashtag ComeCodeConquer and hashtag CodeGladiators2023 on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram using TechGig official handles. It's time for me now to invite Mr. Sanjay Goel, Business Head, TechGig, for the welcome address.
Finally, I've got my HP badge today, and I'm really happy about it. And special thanks to Mandar for this, for setting it up for us. So I was reading, a few days ago somewhere, a very interesting thing, and it led to more thoughts around that. That why do cars have brakes? The very obvious answer in my mind, and I think the most people would have, is just to stop a car, right? The other common answer that most people had was to control the speed of the car. But I think if you have a little different perspective, then you might stretch your imagination to think that you really have brakes in a car to control, or so that you can drive your car fast with confidence. It's just a matter of perspective, right? And I think life is all about perspectives. I have seen very average people or people with very average education do extremely well in life just because their view of outcomes is very different from other people. So the reason why I'm discussing these life lessons on this day is because when I come to this kind of contest and I speak to participants, I'm really curious to know, what brings them to this competition. I get different answers. One of the answers is that they come here because it excites them to participate in competition like this. It gives them an opportunity to make friends, network with industry leaders. But if you stretch your imagination a little further, then probably a different perspective could be every time you participate in a contest like this or hacks, a lot of information about you is created in public domain without your knowledge. How did you excel in that competition? What skills you possess? And eventually, what you achieved. When you work in projects in your company, most of the information about you is classified. It will never, come to public domain. But when you participate in a contest like this, or when you participate in any hack where you are working on prototypes, bringing solution to the table, understanding, where your solution would fit in the industry, or what are the parameters required to take it to market. All of this information lies in public domain. And why I say let's take a little different perspective is because tomorrow somebody might create a generative AI which might ask, give me the names of top 10 Python programmers in India. And where this information will come from? It will come only if there is documented information in public domain, right? In fact, the truth is, if there is absolutely no information about you in public domain, then you don't even exist. So people who participate in contest or people who participate in any kind of hacks, and when they engage with other people or when they contribute in a different way, the information about them is created. And eventually I would say that a lot of information about you would be then stored in certain blockchains which would be available to AI tools. And so I look at it as a very different perspective. So my belief is that the future of recruitment or future of talent acquisition would change very much versus how we do it today. So I prompt you guys that spend time on technology, create solutions, manage your public profile, manage what information about you is created in public domain. Don't be absent from that because it matters and that is the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay Goel. Before we begin the coding celebrations, which span for almost more than 3 months, let's reminisce into the 10 years of Code Gladiators with this small video. Moving on to the next section. It is unbelievable how technology has developed over the last decade. Given the speed of development, tech predictions have a strong potential for becoming a part of our everyday lives by 2040. Up next, I have a leader with me who brings more than 20 years of experience deploying AI, data, and analytics solution with human-centered design, advanced AI/ML models, and full-stack technology development. Currently, she's driving several AI-fueled transformations and leading engagements with clients in consumer, retail, and energy utility industries across strategy, implementation, and operating services. She's built and scaled AI and data practice designed innovative solutions partnering with Deloitte alliances, and established winning collaborations with academia in India in the AI and technology space. Guys, please put your hands together for Ms. Sangamitra Pati, consulting leader at Deloitte, who is here to give us
Hi,
a preview
everyone.
of the
This
next
is
25
Sangamitra Pati
years.
from Deloitte Consulting. I'm delighted to be here today. Thank you, Sukriti. At the very outset, I would like to say many congratulations, TechGig, for completing 10 years of Code Gladiators. It is a great event. I wish all the participants all the very best for the finale, as well as for the journey with technology ahead. The next 25 years. That's what I'm here to talk about. Let me try to put things together and talk about a few secular trends which will be defining moments for humankind and the society as we know it. So here are some of the broad mega trends we are seeing. Firstly, building on the exponential progress of technology. In the last few months in particular, we have seen a dramatic disruption with the advent of generative AI. Not one person I have met, regardless of a large company or an analyst, everyone has really felt and ideated and imagined what the future will look like, because technology has now transitioned to a very new role, not only in an organization, but also in society. So as business leaders imagine the role of technology, there are a few significant shifts that we need to plan for. One, from a trusted operator to a business co-creator. Technology teams typically tend to look themselves in the form of an enabler to drive operational excellence, for instance. But however, right now, we are looking at the convergence of business and technology strategies. They're intertwined, and we are seeing that technology work would evolve and collaborate with business functions for real value to be created. The second one, from service delivery to value delivery. I know this has changed a lot, particularly in our Deloitte day-to-day life. We have seen this dramatic change over the years now. However, it still continues to be there in many places where service delivery is the core focus. With the advent of AI, automation, cloud, and as a service technologies, we will now play a dramatic role to value delivery. Our role and functions would change. The third one, there are still many places where I have seen that technology, analytics, AI is viewed as a cost center. The shift is clear, the shift is fast paced. It has moved from a cost center to a revenue/innovation engine. Technology is going to drive and maintain business operations and build new markets for enterprises. With that shift from cost to revenue and market and innovation, the focus comes to the fourth trend, which is cybersecurity, risk management, and resilience. This is the primary thing that technologists will need to figure out as they look at business technology strategy. And finally, the fifth one, and this is the most important, the growing focus on sustainability, governance, and trustworthiness of technology. That's what we call in Deloitte technology, trust, and ethics. These forces will converge to reform and reshape the future of work in technology. The proliferation of disruptive technologies will reshape the business, reshape industries, reshape markets. Number two, technology's role will shift from that of being a catalyst for business strategy to being actually the bridge between business, technology, and the market. And the third, global demographic and workforce trends will change. There will be new evolution of gig economies, contingent workforce, diverse talent, and global talent markets as companies for more and more access to talent workforce. I would recommend that you look at a few Deloitte resources, which are primarily around a lot of these mega trends. I recommend Deloitte Insights, where we have future of work in technology, Deloitte Trends, Deloitte AI Institute, the age of the with. You may want to read up some of those. The second point that I get a lot of questions around, granted, technology will be transformative, technology will be disruptive, but which technologies will transform work? Which technologies will build a sustainable future? We are seeing new possibilities with quantum computing, artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, cloud, immersive experiences in the metaverse, cognitive automation, and the like. According to Deloitte Insights Tech Trends 2023, there are several trends that we needed to watch out for. I will bring to you just 6 right now. First one, immersive internet for the enterprise. Technologies will yield augmented and virtual reality, transform the metaverse. Specialized tech will come to enterprise as a tool, and it will pave way for new business models. Second, opening up to artificial intelligence. I don't think there is an option anymore. The value of artificial intelligence is undoubtable. The future generations will be completely at ease with AI enablement, and they will use it and these tools and work with them such that it is an augmentation and complement to their own skills. The third, multi-cloud. To simplify multi-cloud management, enterprises will begin to turn, and they're already doing that, into a layer of extraction and automation that will offer a single pane of control. We will see a whole lot of innovation, collaboration, and alliances in that field. The fourth, reimagining the tech workforce. The tech workforce will not be skilled in one or two technologies. Organizations will compete for a limited supply of tech talent. Then the tech talent, which is able to be fungible, which is able to repurpose, transform itself through cross-skilling, upskilling in this continuously evolving landscape, will come out as winners. That's what we're doing in Deloitte. We are replatforming, retooling our existing assets, existing resources, and practitioners, and we are seeing great value. The fifth one, decentralized architectures and ecosystems. The environment will become very prone to risks from areas that have not been imagined before. Blockchain, Web3 will power trustless systems, and which is why the focus on trustworthy AI, trustworthy technology will be a huge component of the way we do business and live our lives. Six, mainframe modernization. Instead of completely replacing mainframe systems, businesses are already looking for ways to extend the functionality of mainframe systems by linking them to emerging technologies. That will drive a lot of trends in its own right. So these positive opportunities, now I say positive very, very carefully. We look at positive opportunities amidst tech challenges and disruptive change. What is next for technology? Through holistically and historically, technology will be an extended set of technology. It will be up, and one of the things that we are seeing is it will be space technology, which is space and aeronautical engineering, biotechnology, cellular and biomolecular reengineering, neurotechnology, brain, nervous system applications, interfaces with health, climate technology, which will focus on climate, sustainability, and environment technologies, energy tech, power, energy, battery, and robotech, which is autonomous and precision robotics. All of these are just few enablers or sneak preview into the emerging areas which will totally transform lives and totally transform businesses. I really feel that this is a great moment to be a technologist. I wish you all the best and have fulfilling careers. May you live in interesting times. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pati. Now, I take this opportunity to invite a software products industry veteran who has significant experience in product buildings in the domains of telecom, network value-added services, and communications technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have please a huge round of applause for Mr. Jayanta Mukherjee, Senior Director and R&D Leader, Communications Technology Group at HPE.
Hello. Oh, that's still my face. Can we have the hello slide? All right, we have had some sort of a compressed dose of technology already, so let's see how technology works out here. All right, so you can hear me well so far, I guess. Can you still hear me well? Okay. All right, so I'll use... All right, it's always very hard standing behind something as a prop in front of you and hoping to be authentic and speaking sense. All right, so I just hope that you've all had a great time as part of the Codeathon, and big congratulations to TechGig, hosting a coding event and a coding competition 10 years at a trot and still being relevant is not a joke. All right, we have held coding competitions before, within our premises as well. And I can tell you, it's not easy. It's not the problem in the code that is difficult, by the way. It's everything else that is difficult. All right. So, the problem with the keynote in something like this is what's going to be key in the note, because we don't know each other, number one. I kind of have some sense of your background and pedigree, but I clearly don't know why you have participated in this competition. And for somebody like me who's been doing products and R&D and stuff like that for a while, not knowing your customer or not knowing the context and still going out and delivering a product, I would have lost my job by now. All right? So it is in this context that I'm here to deliver a keynote, which is completely different from what I normally do in my day job. So what I thought, as I was wondering as to what really to talk about is that I kind of, every time we have a discussion around technology and technologists and problems and things like that, one tends to think of what's been definitive and in some sense, what's been the real lay of the land when it comes to people like us coming together and doing something about it, right? Now, look, this world has been grappling with some real big existential situations. I won't call them problems yet, but situations for a while. Think of working in or trying to sort of navigate a knowledge economy. Coming from an industrial economic context and a construct, companies and people having to deal with a knowledge economy and an information-based construct is hard. Okay, it's hard, and many of us have been trying to grapple with it. I'm sure whether you realize it fully today or not, but it is something fairly existential. We are also dealing with existential situations around climate change and all that kind of stuff and how technology can deal with it. And then there are other existential situations related to clash of ideologies and things like that, between societies, across nations, and all kinds of stuff. But, one thing good has always happened out of these kind of situations, normally, and history stands evidence to that. And that is, we, as individuals, as governments, as companies and businesses, we have invariably gone back and thought of, what is the most key of the key result areas that we should really be focusing on. So there are a bunch of KPIs that, we all deal with at an individual level when we are within our projects and teams and companies. There are a bunch of things that we deal with. But, every time you're faced with a real big problem, you start thinking about what are those, big deals that we have to deal with, things that are truly important in terms of our focus, attention, and of course, in how we evolve ourselves. So, and I just hope this works. So in HPE, beyond everything else, we had said that we are in the business of advancing the way people live and work. Okay? Now, it's a big, broad statement, clearly. I mean, bringing it down to what it really means, it takes a bit. But all the same, we went ahead and made that statement. All right? Now, being a technology company, we clearly had to, we think in terms of a stack. All right? So we had to think in terms of a stack around this, and what we said that for us, we use technology in order to advance the way people live and work. And our stack basically comprises of the connectivity layer, the cloud, and data. And now you dwell into each one of those layers, look at how each one of those layers connect with each other, talk to each other, etc. And you have some sort of, as I said, a lay of the land. Okay? And that's how we go about dealing with this situation. But the point is, why is it important to discuss today, and especially here? And I said, like I told you, I've been struggling to figure out what's going to be key in this keynote. The reason I thought it's still important to understand what this means is that for a company like ourselves, like in HPE, yes, we have a way of peeling the onion here and figuring out what it means, et cetera, et cetera. But that's us. It's still not getting into the collective intelligence of all of us, and clearly, all of us are better than some of us. So it's still not getting into the collective intelligence of all of us to see how we could evolve this into truly advancing the way people live and work. And when I get into a situation where many of you actually volunteered and joined a coding competition to not just test your skills against the problems that are thrown at you, it is also a little bit of an attitude, which probably is going to be the most important thing going forward. This attitude of benchmarking myself against an industry, this attitude of getting in and participating in something along with my industry peers, without this fear of what this really would look like at the end of it, et cetera, and this willingness to participate in problem solving in a generic sense is basically what contributes, if I will, to defining what is called open innovation. Now, open innovation is a very big, broad thing in some sense, but the reason I wanted to touch upon it, especially in the context of, we started with these big problems that we see in this world, the situations that we have in this world today, from there to businesses like HPE trying to define their purpose in order to make progress towards solving some of that, and from which, again, organizations like HPE defining a stack around which to make progress and actually sort of instantiate all the, all the evolutions around that, to realizing that, we are not alone in this world, and we don't need to feel alone in this world, and there is a whole ecosystem out there which needs to be drawn in order to make progress towards some of the technology trends that we just heard from the previous speaker. Now, look, technology and technology trends are tools in many ways. Sometimes they're an end in themselves, but most often they're not. The way to bring to fruition this whole construct of solving big problems actually really needs us to bring an ecosystem together. Now, this is not new. I think technology ecosystems have existed even in the industrial economy for a long, long time. US universities at one time did a fantastic job, in working together with the industry, really, and getting us to some inventions that we are still so proud of, and not just proud of. We are actually, humanity is benefiting a lot from some of that. But that said, a little bit of a data. Okay, Gartner had recently done a poll of some of the Fortune 100 CEOs around how well or how deeply are they truly invested in open innovation. And roughly about 30% of the CEOs said that their businesses were truly invested in open innovation, which means that 70% of some of the biggest companies in the world are still not getting enough out of this kind of an ecosystem and collaboration. Now, again, why is this important for us to discuss today? It's because I think each one of us have a role to play in this. This is not something, I mean, what you're seeing here is basically a NASCOM slide, okay? But the role that each one of us have to play here is as we, even if you get to your day-to-day of writing code and solving a certain problem, basically codifying an algorithm or whatever, remember that A, you are not alone in this business. You are not also probably a handful of people who are trying to solve this problem. There are a whole set of people out there who are either solving a similar problem or would be solving a similar problem, are actually capable of solving that problem, all right? So we always have this thing that when we are writing our code, how much of it is what we called closed software versus how much of it is open software, okay? And I'm not talking open source, by the way, over here. I'm not talking about all the legalities of, upstreaming your stuff, upstreaming your software and things. I'm just talking about how much of our algorithmic designs and the manifestation in the form of code is open versus closed. And this is something that I think each programmer influences, each developer, the way they go about writing their software influences, because this notion of bringing in open innovation lies very heavily on what are called open platforms. Platforms are nothing but systems which provide, as they say, plugs to various other entities to come in and play their part in it, and many a times actually improve sometimes the innards of the platform itself. So it is crucial that for us to truly make progress towards solving some of those big problems, we almost come all the way down to an individual programmer and how they are programming their way through a certain algorithm. So that's really this whole notion of, what you see here, open innovation finally gets us a cost-effective R&D, it gets us, it helps us minimize risk and all that kind of good stuff, yes. But none of this stuff will happen till the time we as individuals can get together and understand that we need to get to an open format programming as far as possible, while not giving away on security, not giving away on IP for your respective companies, not giving away on anything which is important for the running of your business, but at the same time doing enough that we are able to actually harness the broader system. So that said, if you really look at the partners in an innovation ecosystem, there are a variety of them. And I'm sure in your respective organizations, in your respective industry context, you would have bumped into some of these, and you'll find that even things like competitors play an important role in this whole ecosystem development. And people who have harnessed competition and competitors well have truly been able to navigate the so-called blue ocean of innovation, really speaking. Now, how this will manifest into each of your daily lives and how you go about your job on a day-to-day basis is something that you must think about. But there is enormous body of research that is available out there which tells us that our inability to be open enough while preserving our IP and our business, etc., will definitely lead us on a path which is away and taking us away from the stated goal. For example, in HPE, we are very conscious about it because at the end of it, ultimately, I need to be able to advance the way people live and work. Okay, so it is crucial that we understand how this whole ecosystem works, and then what role we specifically have within that in order to make progress. Now, clearly, there is, like I said, there is a whole industry body of knowledge in terms of how things are evolving and how people have been doing in this space, et cetera, et cetera. Different companies have done this differently. Different individuals have done this differently. Again, it's very heartening that many of you probably think differently about this topic and are willing to open up, are willing to benchmark yourselves in a much more broader way than just operating within your respective companies and respective professional circles, and which is what is important, because you will have to make this change going forward, because many of us, like I said, many of the senior execs today in the industry have spoken about this, but then there is always something that is pulling us back, and some of that is we know what all that is. I mean, I'm worried about my IP. I'm worried about how I'll collaborate. I'm worried that my system is really not open enough for me to make things better, etc. So all this, if you look at it in a country context, clearly in India, we have made significant progress on open innovation, but we're not there. Okay, it's easy to talk about some of the things like, academia, industry collaboration is not where it needs to be, etc. I think we've heard enough of that problem that it's almost cliche. I mean, I would rather that you guys don't waste your time on it. The point is, we will have to get to a situation where each one of us understands what it means for me. Because till that time, that is not clear. This is all nice, fancy PPT. Okay, so you talk about NASSCOM, you talk about anybody else, industry bodies who are worried by it, companies like ourselves, people like myself, who all have the good intentions of making progress. Sometimes we aren't able to move the needle enough, and that's not good enough. Okay, which means it's on you. All right, so. And the reason I believe that it's fine to say it's on you is because you have already taken a step wherein you've started benchmarking yourselves more broadly. This mindset is important. Okay, 25 years back, I did not do this. Let me tell you that. Okay, I was not participating in a lot of hackathons and codathons, and these things were not very popular in these days as well. But moment we realized that open innovation is a way forward, many platforms, frameworks, industry bodies evolved around this topic. But what is more important than the platform which is enabling the system is the people who are playing within that platform. So it's really, really up to you now to see how you can actually make progress with open innovation. Because if not, what we heard from the previous speaker about all the 25, technology and its evolution of the next 25 years or so is, well, it'll remain good talk. So, so thank you, and I just wish you all the very best, and just do what you're doing very well. But as you're doing that, just keep in mind that you're not alone in this world. The problems that we really need to solve are truly big, and it is important that we embrace this notion of thing that all of us is always much better than few of us together. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mukherjee. So this keynote had so many keys and notes for all of us, right? Can we have one more huge round of applause for Mr. Mukherjee? Thank you, everybody. Our next segment here. The market size of DevSecOps is predicted to grow at a CAGR of 29.53% by 2027. To give you the insights on this exponential growth, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Nikhil Ratnaparkhi, Senior Director, Enterprise Architecture, Lewis India. Santan Gopalan Padmanabham, Senior R&D Director, Green Lake Cloud Services and Solutions, HPE. Anjaneya Dubey, CTO, Cloud Infrastructure, Site Reliability Engineering and DevSecOps, Honeywell. Minas Kotian, Senior Specialist Database, Publicis Sapient. And Prashant Khare, Head Digital Native, Cloud Engineering, Oracle India. First of all, thank you so much for agreeing to be here and talk of what we're going to actually conversate about. So I think we should move to the discussion directly. Okay, so DevSecOps is actually getting immensely popular nowadays. And what do you think is the main reason behind this? And is this popularity permanent or will fade away over time? Anjaneya, this question is for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can call me Anj. I know my name is a tongue twister for many. DevSecOps, right, as the name suggests, you have dev, you have security, and then you have operations. In traditional, typical software development, if you see, there were different teams that were involved. There were, dev teams that gets involved into developing the product. Then you will have the operations team would require a lot of other things to do the operations piece. And as Jen then, Sanjay was talking about, we got to innovate. We got to innovate really, really fast. And if you look at the industry, I mean, if you really want to survive as a company, you got to build these cool new tools, features, products rapidly into the market. And the only way you could do this is by streamlining, fast-pacing your product development. The only way to do that today is following this methodology of DevSecOps, which is bringing all aspects of product development into the product development, which means that you work very closely with the product engineers. The things that you really have to focus on is the three big pillars. The way I look at the whole software development life cycle is that there is the product development side, which is creation of value side on the left-hand side. And then you have the customers who are consuming your product on the right-hand side. And then you have a big bridge that connects them, the software development and the consuming of the software that we build. And the DevSecOps is the bridge that connects the two. And the three big pillars, the four big pillars that I see that are holding that bridge where the software kind of flows through are, agility, which is how fast you develop your code, and how quickly you can develop with an experience that all developers love. I mean, we are all developers over here, and when you go interact with the tools that you have to kind of go do development, you would want to be very easy, and with generative AI now in our hands, you would want some of those things to be with you so that you can use them, augment your development, and do things faster. So agility is very, very important, which is bringing all these different tools, technologies that help developers have a very good experience while they're developing, but most importantly, developing at a fast pace. And then, of course, the quality side of things, which is, quality is extremely important when you build code. Traditional software development, quality cycles used to take a lot of time, and you don't want that at all. The third big pillar is, again, reliability, which is, how reliable your software is, because the scale at which we operate today, if you look at India, when I was here back in 2006, I would have to go 5 different places to get things. And now I have Zepto, and everybody was like, oh my goodness, using this. And I'm so happy, and the UPI payments have completely changed. I don't live here, so I don't use UPI. I did not use UPI as much, but I come over here, I see UPI, at pretty much every vendor, and look at the scale at which we have to operate. The only way you could build these kind of software is by keeping reliability at the center of the product development. Again, security, you have to, the other speaker talked about that as well, which is you have to build a highly secure systems because, more exposure you have, bigger problems you would have, and so on. So it's very important to have all this. With this now, the only way, like I said, you could do all this is by adopting DevSecOps. So DevSecOps is going to be here. It's here. Any and every developer that gets involved into product development needs to understand a different aspect of DevSecOps or site reliability engineering to get going. And if you look at, I asked just generative AI, in the morning today, that how many DevSecOps open jobs we have today. And I was surprised to see the numbers. It was 164,000 open jobs in the world, and 19,000 just in India. And around 2,000 were open just this month. So, you can just, and just in India, 2,000 jobs open this month in July, which is you can see this, how much it is, adopted, and how fast we are moving. The teams, that are building these softwares need these skills and so on. So it's just awesome to see.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ansh. You've set up, the entire context for our audience right. Prashant, I'll move to you now. How adoption of microservices and cloud-native apps are strengthening the DevSecOps for organizations? As Ansh also mentioned, how businesses are, these days using and how we've already created a stir in the market.
Sure, definitely. Is it on? Okay, great. So microservice. First, let's talk about microservices, right? So today, normally, whatever apps we are using in the mobile phone or whatever applications we are using on our desktops, all of them are microservices, right? And that's what has been the design of any cloud-native application development, right? Everybody is aware of software delivery lifecycle, right? And I just want you guys to imagine a line, right? On the left side of the line is your code, which you develop. And on the right side, your code is running in form of an application in production, right? Now think about it. The more you lean towards the left side, it's easier to make change. It's less expensive because you're more near to the code, you're not in production. And the more you go towards the right, it becomes difficult, more and more catastrophic if something goes wrong. So it's very, very important to embrace security at the code layer, which is towards the left side. So that's a fundamental of it, of the DevSecOps. Now, DevOps by nature is very modular. The microservices are very modular, which means that you're not developing everything as a whole, whereas you're distributing everything within a service. You're breaking down everything into individual services. So what you're doing is basically you're making sure that one thing does not impact other, or things can be version controlled, things can be developed, enhanced independently. Now put that into perspective of security, right? Now what do we want from security? That you want to reduce the blast radius. If something goes wrong, and it does go wrong more often than we like to think about, right? We do not want it to impact other functions of my applications, right? That's very important. So that basically makes it more important that we embrace security as part of my development lifecycle. Now, what are the benefits, right? Why microservices are something if you use DevSecOps and how they are strengthening the DevSecOps of an organization, right? Security has always been thought as a layer, right? Which is running outside the DevOps, which means that we have a security operations team which is doing everything that they're supposed to do. They are defining policies, they are auditing, they are doing pen testing and everything, but they're not in the system. They are still at the fence, right? Now, with DevSecOps, we are bringing them as a part of a design process. We are bringing them as a part of a coding exercise itself. So what benefit do we get out of this, right? First of all, I already mentioned that you're reducing the blast radius because if your one service gets compromised, it does not impact the other ones. The second thing is scalability. Normally, because you're building these microservices for scale, they can scale very seamlessly at a very fast pace. It's all about agility and speed. Security is something which has always been something which is an afterthought. So by embracing DevSecOps, you can scale your security infrastructure as your microservice increases. So you get the full production from the start itself. Second thing is when you talk about immutable infrastructure, right? Because right now all the microservices are deployed in a way that they are just configuration file. So they are in a readable format. They're not something which is changing on the fly. So that basically makes it more easier to avoid any drift in your configurations. So with these things, making it more simpler, making it, bringing security as a part of a code, which means that you can control aspects, and in case you detect any failures, you can fix it independently without impacting any other system. These are some of the things how microservices are basically providing a greater benefits for strengthening the organization which is using DevSecOps.
Thank you, Prashant. I think it's changing the market entirely for businesses, as well as it's somewhere or the other affecting the business objective that one has. So thank you so much for that. I will now move to Nikhil. We all agree that the role of developers has evolved in the past few years, especially in the DevSecOps domain. How important do you think is monitoring security threats at the very beginning of a life cycle?
Very good question. I'll take it a little different, right? I don't know, there was a statement in movie Spider-Man, right? With great power comes great responsibility, right? As an engineer, we are building things for a customer. And a customer is me, customer is anybody who is using my application. And it's my responsibility to make sure that any information which is coming into my system is secured. It's not available to anybody else who is not supposed to see it, right? That's important. Now, how it impacts, if something like this happens, how it impacts the business and other people, right? For an organization, biggest impact is financial and legal, because one of the example in my previous experience, one of the security engineer told me is, if a security threat is identified, the first impact that happens is on the financial market, where stock prices go down, right? Assume 5% for $1 billion company, it is $50 million, right? Big impact. Any organization will take a big amount of time to recover from it. Second impact is on the lives of the customers whose data has been compromised, right? So you never know who is going to use it. So very important. So again, legal is another angle which comes in, where regulatory authorities keep a very tight watch on some of these activities. And if something like this to happen, me as an organization will have to engage legal, we'll have to engage some fines which may come up. Very big reason why some of these things have to be taken up first. And that is why what he mentioned, right? Shift left, or doing things right when I'm writing something, is one, easier to fix. Blast radius, as he talked about, is small. Simpler to make changes at the time when I'm developing, rather than once the application is developed and you don't know how many services needs to modify if I have to make a change. The last thing as an organization when I'm delivering something, right, is on the delivery timelines itself. Every time, especially if you're working in a consulting company, right, everything is governed by time. For that matter, in a product company also, there are timelines which I look at, saying I have probably committed something to my investor, saying I will give it something in a month's time, and if something I identify at the last moment, my timelines get impacted, right? So the delivery time gets impacted. So it's always important, me as an engineer, to look at that, how I can identify some of these flaws sooner, so that I can fix it right at the moment when it is identified, rather than a penetration tester or an external threat actor identifying this and then we fixing it, right? So these are some of the things very important when it comes to, as an engineer, to keep in mind that when I'm writing something, how it is impacting the lives of my users, what kind of information I'm collecting, why am I collecting, and what am I going to do with it, and how it is going to impact me as well as my users, customers, whoever it is who is going to use that information.
Thanks, Nikhil. Any tips you would want to share with our developers that who are watching us here right now, that how they can actually do this, be a little more conscious when it comes to taking a call?
Right. So I think we talked about testing our applications beforehand, right? So there are quite a few things which are available. So if you're using code repositories like GitHub or something, or you're using GitLab, there are a lot of static code analyzers which are available. Right at the time you're developing, you can run through these code analyzers to identify threats which are available, which can be fixed. And these rules which run through the code and analyze are continuously getting updated, because a new threat is always coming up every day, right? So very important to run through these as part of your build process itself. So every time you commit a code, you run a build at the end of the day, or n number of times in a day, to identify if there are any issues that are there. Second thing, as a process of DevSecOps, don't let something move forward if you're not happy enough or you're not comfortable enough to say that yes, my code is secure enough to move forward, right? So build those gates as part of your process, so that your code doesn't move forward if it does not pass through certain security gates, right? Now moving forward, that when I have developed something, how do you know it is secure? Just because I have done static code analysis doesn't mean it is secure, right? So you can actually run through some of the penetration testing as part of the process and identify some of the issues that may not have been caught by static code analysis as well. So there are these processes which exist, which should be part of your daily life cycle, daily routine, to make sure that we are looking at these things identifying problems, critical issues, high severity issues should never pass, right? This is what is an important aspect for me as an engineer, where I should, when I'm writing this microservice or a piece of code, that it is going through these type of tests beforehand, and I can catch them, identify them, and fix them as soon as they are found.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. That helps. I will now move to Santhan. We've all discussed about how it's, when it comes to organizations being and creating an impact, the product life cycle that we look at, the cautions that we, should take. Talking about the areas of skill sets, what are the skill sets that you think are required to excel in the DevSecOps right now?
Thanks. So before I jump into the skill sets part of it, a quick thing on the need of DevSecOps, right? I think Anji talked about it very well. But if you go to 1980s, manufacturing industry was grappling with the same problem of, let's use a lead time, right? You get a raw material into the company to come out as a finished product. It used to take about a couple of months. So you book a car, and then it'll take 2 months. You have to wait for a car to come out, right? That's a lead time. And even the output was probably fraught with errors in terms of the quality of the end deliverable was not what it was desired. So how did they solve it? Lean, Six Sigma, right? Those are the type of things which used to be the popular thing in 80s. What was Lean and Six Sigma for the manufacturing industry is what is Agile and DevSecOps for us. So basically that's what helps you. So it's, basically bring down the amount of time it takes to develop a software and for it to be installed and productive at the customer size. When I started coding in the 90s, it used to take 6-month product releases, right? That was fine, that was acceptable at that point in time. Now if you go tell a customer, you ask for a feature, you tell him I wait for 6 months, he'll show you the door, right? And the other thing is in terms of, we want to try some things, we are not sure, right? You do something and you give it to him 6 months down the line, by the time his requirements would have changed, right? He may want totally something different. So you need to be able to quickly give something to a customer, try it out, he gives you feedback, you iterate over it, that's it. And that's possible only with DevSecOps today. So it's no longer a nice to have, a cool thing to say, I'm doing DevSecOps. The companies that didn't do Lean and Six Sigma in 80s went belly up. Same thing is going to happen with software industry. So that's just one thing to say, the importance of DevSecOps. Now going on to the skill sets. Skill sets, it's not about just going to a class and pick something and I'll do DevSecOps coming from tomorrow, from Monday, right? That's not going to happen, right? There is a combination of, one, the mindset, it's a people, process, tool stuff, right? So the people's mindset needs to change, right? Traditionally, it has been said that development is cool. Okay, I'll develop a bunch of complex stuff, and then I'll not worry about someone else will take care of a deployment, right? I'll throw it across the wall, create a bunch of manual, and some deployment guy will take it and spend about 2 months trying to deploy it with migration from previous release to next release. It will take 2 months because you are benchmarked, or as a developer, you're not accountable for how fast is it to get it deployed in the production. That was one problem, the way we were structured. Development was considered cool and strategic, but IT was somewhere in the periphery, right? Security was more an afterthought, right? When everything is done, it was all running in the perimeter of a company's interns inside the company. So you protect the external perimeter and you thought it's all good. These days, very little software runs inside the perimeter of the company. It all runs in the cloud, so security becomes much more important. So things have changed. So the first thing is basically the mindset needs to change, that it can't be development alone. So you need to bring in the developer, you need to bring in the IT ops, you need to bring in the security, all in one go from day one. So you design with deployment in mind. You design saying that is the software, can it be upgraded tomorrow with minimal downtime for the customer, right? In terms of security analysis, can't be done when the software is developed. Is all my AP communication happening in a secure ways, the strength of the ways, how quickly am I going to cycle the keys that I'm going to use in production. So all those things needs to happen in day one. So the mindset needs to change, that's number one. Then comes the process. So DevSecOps is fine, but it's a very loosely worded thing. What is that you want to achieve with DevSecOps? You need to set some goals. Okay, I want to bring the lead time from months to weeks, right? I want to reduce the number of security incidents that happens after I deployed software. So be clear about what you want to achieve with DevSecOps, right? Then the best way is you put metrics, right? You start measuring things, and that's what will drive the changes in people's behavior. So what are the things that you want to measure? Maybe the lead time, right? How long the development that I'm doing, how long does it take to go into production? If it's six weeks, that's bad. If what I develop today goes into production, maybe 1 week from now, that's cool. Again, different companies may be in different way in the maturity model, but you start measuring it and then slowly start setting goals to move to the right direction. So definitely lead time is one. The other thing is, what is the size of churn, the code, right? Typical thing, good thing is don't do big bang code changes, right? Do smaller changes, deploy it, keep iterating through that, right? How many times you're going to doing a deployment in a month? If you're doing deployment once in a month and doing a big bang change, not good thing. If you're deploying once in a week, that's a good thing because it reduces the risk, right? Even the blast radius might be less because you're doing smaller changes. Then you need to measure metrics like maybe mean time to repair. If a problem happens in the code, it will happen. Accidents happen, right? But how quickly can you restore? Maybe within probably 5 minutes of the problem happening, right? That's a good thing to have. If it takes maybe hours to deploy or even days, then you are in for trouble. So start measuring those from a process perspective, metrics, and that will drive change within the behavior of the people. And the last thing is tools. Tools is more the last thing why I'm talking about is there are a bunch of CI/CD tools which are available today. GitLab, Jenkins, Argo CD, or any of those things. Pick what you choose. Different people have different choices what they want to do and other stuff. Bring in those static code analysis stuff that you definitely do, the penetration testing that he talked about. Make sure that all of those is built in using your tools. And the last thing is also the deployment, right? There are deployment tools which are available which will tell you that audit if I have deployed it in the right way, have I left some holes which can make me famous tomorrow, right? Will I be in the headlines? So a systematic approach when coming to the skill sets part I talk about, I know I took it slightly in a different direction, is skill sets is not about going into training and you have all this stuff, right? You need to think holistically from a perspective of people, process, tools to be able to successfully embrace and make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Any suggestions to our audience when it comes to having the precision of, picking up the skill sets here, Santan? Anything that you would want to suggest?
Yeah, in terms of skill sets, I would say, see, there are things that I think Prashant talked about it, right? Microservices, right? You need to develop things. These are basic software engineering stuff that you need to pick up. There used to be concept like cohesion and coupling, right? What should be within a particular microservice or what should be in another microservice, right? You should not do more than what a microservice should do. You need to have API compatibilities. That API should be version, right? When you deploy something, you need to make sure that you can go into V2, V3 of it, but your V1 and V2 should continue to work because other microservices may be calling that, right? So picking up certain things like 12-factor app practices, there are enough things in terms of how well-defined design patterns which are available for microservices. Picking those skill sets would definitely be a good thing. And some of the CI/CD practices, right, in general, become comfortable with some of the tools which are available. Security profiling tools. Security is a big domain in itself. What to look for in terms of static thing, the penetration testing and other stuff. The other thing which is important is about the open source tools, right? None of us develop any software without using any open source tools today. So making sure that if there are some security vulnerabilities, CVEs which are available on those open source, first secure them. Otherwise you will be famous because of their problems, right? So I think it's a more broad set of things, not just on your software, the third party stuff, the software development thing, the tools and other stuff is a skill set that people need to pick up to be successful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we've discussed about the organizations, the microservices, the skill sets, and how the entire evolution is happening when it comes to DevSecOps. Vinaz, I would like to come to you now. Let's talk about what the future holds, right? We're talking about the current state, but what does the future look like for DevSecOps, for developers and the IT security market as well? Because Santan clearly mentioned security is one of the most important things, right?
Right. And first of all, congratulations TechGig for the decade completion of 10 years, and welcome you all. So I really appreciate your time here. I know today is Sunday, but still, this shows that how eager you are to learn something new. That's really a positive sign, right? And regarding the future of DevSecOps, developers or IT security professionals, see, and you just gave the statistics now, right? In India, how many jobs there are, in the global, how many jobs there are. But the future is very bright and full of opportunities, right? Now, the way the technology is advancing nowadays, evolving nowadays, and the data being used over the net, and the infrastructures, endpoints being exposed, right? So security is a big concern. And DevSecOps has to be proven a significant game changer here. So adopting a shift-left technology where, security is being tested at the earliest stage of development, that has really helped and collaborated developers and security professionals and created an environment where these testings can be taken care early in the development stage. And what I have seen with these collaborations, a top talented professionals are ready in the industries, right? The developers now understand the security challenges, right? And the security professionals understand the development requirement, right? So this kind of talents are really a new rules that has been created now. And also with these cloud technologies, right? We have major vendors like AWS, Google, and Microsoft, right? They have their own architectures, tools, and the way they monitor. And so they have come up with a learning path, right? Certification course. So the security professionals or DevSecOps professionals go ahead and enable themselves for their cloud-specific tools to learn and grow. And so not only they design and come up with the best practices for the cloud-based application in those vendors' cloud space, but also they started partnering with the architectures to implement security in the design phase itself, right? So and the way and also they started partnering in designing the security best practices so that they can protect the data, they can control the access, right? So these are the current new emerging roles that is coming up, and I think this is really a best opportunity for all of us to grab and upskill ourselves, right? I mean, I would say this, why not automation and AI-driven tools? That is this is playing a crucial role in software development now. So with this AI-driven tool, you can go ahead and start security testings, code analysis, and you can also, monitor the threat and detect it and control it. So, I mean, all of us here, we all spoke about DevSecOps, how security is playing a major role in this industry now. So, to add into this, I think the future is bright and promising.
Thank you so much, Manaz. I think I had a wonderful time. Before we wrap up, I would like to have a closing remark from each one of you. Prashant, let's begin from you, please.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to share this, because right now if you see the way we do programming, the way we do coding itself is changing, right? All these emerging technology like generative AI, we have like code GPTs in the world that can probably write the whole code for you. You can put a problem statement and you can put the right code. And that basically makes security even more important, because all these public models have actually been trained on public data. They might or might not be relevant to your objective. So you really have to be able to audit that. And another example that I want to give that probably every one of us have faced is, let's say there's a security breach happened. Let's say there's an outage in your application. Now, how many times do we struggle to find that where the problem is? So DevOps basically provides a good methodology. It's more of more like a methodology, right? Where you are changing the way you think. It's more of a culture than the tools and technology, because there are tons of tools out there, right? But what you need to achieve is that how quickly you can identify where the problem is. You need to be able to monitor it. You need to be able to fall back onto working code, and you should be able to prevent it from happening in the future, right? And that's something which all the DevSecOps is. As you mentioned, that it's not something which is a good to have. It's something which everybody has to have, and developer productivity is something which is centered around this. And I get ask about that, or I basically, being in Oracle, and I speak to a lot of companies who are adopting cloud, who are adopting DevSecOps, and this is one of the most common discussion. How do we improve developer productivity? How do we integrate security as a part of the code, and what are the different tools that can help us? So yeah, definitely, from the future is good in that aspect, yeah.
Thank you so much, Prashant. Nikhil?
Yeah, so I think a lot of things have been covered. So one thing which I see, and from our own experience, right, we have spent last 20 years in the industry. One thing which has been constant is change, right? Things change, and they are going to keep changing in the next years to come, right? So as an individual, be ready for that change. Be ready to learn, be curious, keep an open eye in terms of what's happening around you. That's an important aspect. The more comfortable you are with the change, probably that's an opportunity, any new opportunity coming, it's there for you to grab, right? So that's an important aspect for anything that we do, right? I mean, not only development, security or anything, it's for general development or my future progression. I believe that it's an important thing that, I should be ready for that change. Second thing which he talked about is having that culture within the organization, right? Culture doesn't get built overnight, right? It's a process where the culture gets built. So work towards that, building that culture wherever you work, right? Say, it can be any ways that you can find out. Maybe participating in some of these type of events where you will meet other friends, colleagues who can talk about their experience, and that's how you learn, right? So be open, be curious, and be ready for the change.
Thank you, Nikhil. Minaz?
Yeah, so I mean, with this cutting edge technologies where we stand today, right? Time to market is very important, right? So we all promise something to our customers and we see that we are delivering it. And there is lots of competition is going on. So staying ahead with the technology, upskilling ourselves, and understanding the customer expectations are what I see is the main, this is the culture that you can grow and evolve and help your team to grow.
Thank you so much, Minaz. Anj?
Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, it was great being here. But like everybody has been talking about, and the way Jayant summed it up, innovation is extremely important. No matter where you are, what business, what work, what job you're doing, you have to keep thinking about the future. You have to keep collaborating. You have to work hard. And most importantly, like I said, if you have to innovate, you have to think beyond. And thinking beyond is extremely critical. And he was talking about, why India is kind of still lagging. We have still a lot of work. If you look at some of these SaaS platforms and the products that have come up in the last 5 to 10 years in India, and the global market is extremely huge, which tells that, we are in the right direction. We just have to keep thinking about innovation and DevSecOps, or no matter what new philosophy, discipline comes in, tomorrow you have to just keep innovating, keep working hard, keep learning new things. Things is going to change. You have to use all the tools that are available, any and everything that is available to you to kind of keep the needle forward is extremely, extremely important. So use your tools, use your skills, and just keep learning is something that I do it myself, and I suggest everyone, especially, if you look at, like I said, if you look at India, there is a lot of work that is still going on. We are still under construction. Not just the road in Bangalore, but overall, we are under construction and something that we are rapidly moving forward. So all of us are extremely, extremely important to just keep doing what we do.
Thank you so much, Anj. Santan?
So one thing that just came to me on the DevSecOps stuff, at least one of the things that I tried within my team is the engineer that develops the code also operates it and fixes it, right? So you don't, if a problem comes in, he deploys it in a night, problem happens, middle of the night, he'll be woken up. So he gets a PagerDuty call and he gets it and solve it. So I saw it in one of the places where the engineer was awake for 3 or 4 nights, and 1 week the code was rock solid as it could be. So I think that's thing, write a code as though you're going to maintain it, right? The other thing is software development is not a science, it's a piece of art. The code should look like really something you should, when you look at it, it should look like that's something that you love, that what you have created. I mean, you're living in a very fantastic world. I remember writing my first AI program in Lisp and Prolog. I don't know if even those languages are relevant these days. In 90s, solving this 8 queens problem in the chessboard, or how do you do all this stuff. I mean, it was a lull for about 30 years. We did not have enough compute power for AI to be a reality. I mean, you're living in a time where AI is coming to fruition. A lot of those cool technologies are coming in, and things changes every 6 months. A lot of cool stuff to learn, and make the most out of it, and be open, right, in terms to embrace the change. Change is something that's going to be constant. And all the best to you guys.
Thank you. Can I please have a huge round of applause? Thank you so much. When we are just settling down, I hope all of you are making notes of what our leaders are sharing today, because some of the very important aspects for your skill sets and for your future has been shared by all of them. Moving on to the next section. Now, AI, IoT, and Metaverse are technologies that have the potential actually to create a highly immersive and interconnected digital world that offers unrivaled opportunities for innovation, collaboration, and communication. But what makes these technologies distinct in the power to automate the entire infrastructure into a profound and human-oriented solution? To give us a sneak peek into this, may I please invite Mr. Shouvik Mazumdar, Head of Immersive Technology and Experience from Ascendion, for an exclusive coverage on the convergence of IoT, AI, and Metaverse.
Thank you, Sukriti. My name is Shouvik S. Mazumdar, and I head the Experience Engineering Division for Ascendion. Ascendion is a new kind of company that connects the art and science of digital engineering and talent solution. I'm very happy to speak in the 10th anniversary of CodeGig. Congratulations for this marvelous achievement. And today I'm going to talk about how we are converging Metaverse, IoT, and AI. For any technology to endure and create a lasting impact, it must do much more than just amazing us with temporary novelties. The trinity of Metaverse, IoT, and AI has the capacity to solve profound business challenges, bringing futuristic visions to life and driving productivity beyond imagination. So when we talk about their convergence, let us spend a minute in understanding what these technologies are in their individual capacity. So what is Metaverse? Metaverse is a wonderful digital realm using augmented and virtual reality as its user interface, which enables real-time interactions and we use principles of mini games for engaging users. Metaverse spoke about decentralized infrastructure, but that's a distant vision today. Next, we turn our attention to IoT. IoT is something which unites devices, sensors, and objects and makes them in a seamless dance of data collection, exchange, and processing. This interconnectivity empowers the physical world with unprecedented efficiency, automation, and data-driven decision making. Lastly, we have AI, the crown jewel of every innovation. AI is making machines human-like intelligent and enabling them to analyze data, learn patterns, and take autonomous action. Generative AI is something that adds a layer of marvel, producing original content like images, text, audio, and video, defying conventional limitation. So how do we merge these technologies together? So at Ascendion, we build something what we call as Ascendverse, which is basically a platform that provides convergence of these technology. We used IoT generated data and constructed a digital twin of an entire factory for a customer. Now, when we did that, we brought hundreds of employees together in a multiplayer experience who can experiment, learn, simulate scenarios about how this complex machine works. This gave us an opportunity to unlock the unknowns. So now we could, with AI, we could predict failures, we could do predictive maintenance and deploy trained people on ground, which dramatically reduced accidents. So you see, when we converge metaverse, IoT, and AI, we see dramatic user experiences unfolding before us. And also grand scale automation. We were able to reduce 40% of manual work by using generative AI. We use generative AI for testing, we use generative AI for content creation, and when we actually put it together, we realized we had an over 40% productivity increase. So today, all these technologies put together is disrupting business. And I personally feel that when we converge these technologies together, we can make this world a safer and a much better place to live in. We are in 2023, prepared to witness a parade of new business possibilities, each marching under the banner of convergence. We see retailers embracing metaverse to conduct virtual showrooms where customers can try on clothes, can test furnitures before they buy. We have AI powered chatbots who can sell even your Tesla car, can also help you give a much better customer experience, and you don't have to wait on an IVR because AI chatbots are much powerful and more intelligent to solve your problem then and there itself. The entertainment and gaming industry is going through a disruptive change. When you play a game, you can have an AI driven characters, you can have your experiences being personalized on the fly, and that is gonna help this industry retain users, to increase the monthly active users, and also most importantly the monetization, because this industry has a tendency of giving it a premium base where the first part is free, and then you start earning revenue as and when the user retention grows. With this AI, IoT, and metaverse, you would actually be able to increase your monthly active users and also your monetization. One of the industry which has reaped the benefits of this technology very early in the game is healthcare. We are using these technologies for advanced medical training, surgical simulation, remote patient care, and today as we speak, right, in the next couple of years, these technologies together will revolutionize the entire healthcare and life science business. Now we are in India. How can India specifically benefit from these technologies? Well, we are talking about smart cities where IoT sensors and AI can actually work together to manage resources, traffic, and public services. The metaverse will serve as an invaluable testing ground for urban planning, enabling data-driven decisions to uplift citizens' quality of life. And we have institutions like NABARD, which the public service, the PSUs, which can meticulously plan their massive infrastructure projects using this technology. And even agriculture has a play, even the technologies have a play in agriculture. We can use IoT sensors to track soil moisture, temperature, and nutrient levels, and will give us essential insights to nourish the crops. And also we can have virtual farm tours. So definitely all these simulations and all these technologies put together has a very, very strong play in how we are reshaping our business and how we actually live, work, and play. But where are we exactly today? We still call these technologies as emerging technologies. So what is actually stopping them from becoming mainstream? Before I answer that, why is everyone talking about generative AI today? Generative AI was there even in 2022. But this year, they released ChatGPT, which basically is a UI to the AI. So what happened is, overnight, hundreds and thousands of people can simply go ahead and start typing and get work done. So for a technology to become mainstream, it is very important that hundreds and thousands of people are actually using it. That's the network effort we're talking about. So yes, we are building platforms like Ascendverse. There are many other companies doing some path-breaking work in this particular dimension. But the real breakthrough will come when people can access metaverse, IoT, and AI in a simple flip of a button. And that's not exactly very distant in the future. That moment will come. And that is that moment where history will be made. And that's exactly where this technology will become mainstream. I'm very, very upbeat and very, very optimistic about the future of all these three technologies coming together. So while we are at it, we stand at the precipice of digital revolution, armed with the knowledge that these convergence can forge an extraordinary tomorrow. And as we navigate through all the challenges and surmount barriers, let us remember the true essence of technology lies not just in its complexity, but its ability to enhance lives and uplift humanity. So when you are here at Codeathon writing the code, remember you are not solving a technology problem, you're solving a business problem. You're solving that business problem that's going to make this world a better place to live in. So best of luck and thank you TechGig. Congratulations once again for completing 10 years of this fantastic coding competition. Looking forward for great solutions coming up from the team. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Shavik. Thank you so much. Next section up. The modern world of work demands a modern mentality of professionals. But so, what kind of system will make them future ready and thriving? What do all business strategies have in common? A solid workforce strategy. To discuss and share the insights around building this solid workforce, ladies and gentlemen, I have with me a business and people leader whose experience spans different industries, regions, and functions. Please put your hands together for Ms. Jayati Dwivedi, Head of Talent Acquisition Enterprise EMEA and Asia, Philips. So, Jayati, you have more than 3 decades of experience in workforce planning, business strategies, hiring channel management, hiring technologies and assessment centers, and much more. Please tell us, how does the future of workforce, what exactly it looks like and what it holds for us?
Hello, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here at the Code Gladiators finale. Thank you, Sukriti, for inviting me to this discussion today. I'm really thankful that we're talking to such a big audience and talking about such an apt topic, which is future workforce. The future workforce that I see ahead of us is going to be completely digital, diverse, and purpose-driven. You might say digital is so well utilized across. I mean, everybody knows that this is the digital age, and it's evident that digital competencies are a must. But the demand for the level of those competencies will advance to continually predict and solve challenges of the future. I again call out challenges of the future. I come from a background which is healthcare technology space. And I'm going to take you through an example so that you can relate to it very easily from the healthcare technology space itself when we talk about challenges of the future and how the workforce, the digital workforce, has to be tuned in to solve the challenges of the future. There are no second chances in medical technology, and precision is key. Be it in the operations theater of a hospital, or in the ICU, or in a medical doctor's chamber. From preventive cardiac care to informatics to MRIs or CT machines, healthcare technology and medical devices must deliver the right output every time as its lives are at stake. Healthcare institutions and hospitals invest wisely in medical devices, anticipating that they will function properly for years and even decades to come. At the same time, with technological advancements, healthcare is moving towards prognosis. What's prognosis? It's prediction. It's projections. Moving towards prognosis, which means anticipating the future with the use of data, analytics, expert medical and clinical knowledge, and solving for it too. The scope for betterment is immense, and complementing these systems with cloud services, artificial intelligence, and other technologies open doors to innovation. So we're looking for a digital workforce of the future who are able to solve problems of the future through data, analytics, expert medical and clinical knowledge, That's what we're talking about for the as the workforce of future. Coupled with this is a purpose-driven workforce. When we look at a purpose-led or purpose-driven, several industries report reveal that people want to feel like they are part of something bigger than what they're doing, something more positive and making a difference to the world. I might be just recruiting people, but I know the people that I recruit are actually solving a bigger problem for the world. Today's workforce has more choices for where they can use the skills, and increasingly they want to work for an employer that's in line with their personal values. It's about doing the work of their life to help the lives of others. So a purpose-driven talent workforce which is looking to solve problems of the future is what the workforces can be called as the future of workforce. Along with it, of course, is diversity, and we are going to get into diversity a little more as we talk more with you, Sukriti. Thank you.
So I have this question, the very next question that I actually have is about diversity, Jaiti. What are some of the major strategies that are being implemented to build a diverse and inclusive workforce in today's time?
Good question again, Sukriti. In India, we do have a unique advantage of seeing unity in diversity. We have so many languages that we speak in this country. We come from different corners of the country. The country is wide, big, one of the largest countries in the world. So we come with diversity built in our culture, in our way of how we live. But yet, there's some more of inclusiveness that we have to work through in our corporate environment. It all begins with building the right culture, creating an environment of awareness, acceptance about the various dimensions of diversity. And when we talk about various dimensions of diversity, it is not just a male and a female gender. It's regional, it's language, it's different cultures, it's different kind of genders, it's preferences. Accepting all of that together and moving forward in a corporate environment is what we call as inclusive workforce. Now, building that culture is not easy. Building that culture is most important. And to build that culture, we start with imbibing the right pillars, the pillars of learning and development around inclusiveness. Every employee, be it a people leader or an individual employee, has to be inducted into it, so that into the program of being inclusive, participate in strong training programs, so that everything that they do initially, they consciously adapt to inclusiveness, and then over a period of time that becomes the culture or the fabric of the organization, and then it works unconsciously itself. That's the stage that we want to reach. So one, of course, there's awareness that has to be driven, there's training that has to be given, so that every individual understands what we mean by being inclusive and embrace it as a culture. The second big piece is about how we imbibe it in our policies, in our guidelines, in our every communication that we do within the organization and externally. I'll give you a few examples over here. Every policy that we build in the organization or that's existed in the organization has to be again looked at with a lens to make sure that we are inclusive in our approach. From HR perspective, I can call out there can be medical benefits which has to be looked at with an eye to include inclusiveness. Travel policies, all kinds of rewards, benefits has to be looked at. From a talent acquisition perspective, a very simple piece, which we know so well, job specifications. The way we draft the job specification, it has to be completely gender agnostic. In other words, it has to be inclusive so that it does not give any feeling of being preferred for any particular gender or any particular culture. So it's important that we build a communication which is absolutely inclusive. So that's the second big piece. I also believe that employee resource groups has to be created and supported and encouraged among employees, which becomes the basis for mentorship, for sharing experiences driven by employees to really advocate and practice inclusiveness in all that they do around them.
Jyoti, what role do employees play in creating such workforces that persists and we need to actually address right now?
I'll break this up into two parts: role of employees in creating such workforces, and I'll also address what challenge still persists and we need to address. Let's understand that employees are at the helm of all of this. So every employee has a responsibility to creating a workforce which is inclusive. If I look back, I think employee resource groups, ERGs, are vital in helping building an inclusive workforce. Core to an ERG is providing support, fostering a sense of belonging. Employee resource group provide a space where people feel safe to be authentic. Remember, authentic at work is so important today. And supported in finding more meaning and purpose in what they do. And employees become your biggest advocates within the organization and outside. They refer and bring diverse people together. So today, if we have an ERG, and if ERG is really working the way it should work, fostering, supporting our different diverse groups, the word of mouth itself will enable us to bring in more people who are diverse in their ways. And so I strongly believe that ERGs have to be absolutely functional across different segments to make diversity the fabric of the company. If I move on to challenges, in the recent past, I've come across a lot of people and people leaders, managers, who think that, or who feel that they're a little scared sometimes on the words, on the heftiness of the words of diversity and inclusion. I think it's important that we break it down, make it easy, make it more understandable so that our employees, our managers are able to grasp it, take it forward, believe in it, and be with us in this entire journey. So one big challenge that I see is how we communicate, what we communicate within the organization around inclusiveness, around diversity, so that all of us are in that journey and not a few people who believe in it. So changing the culture of the organization to believe in diversity, to be inclusive, so that every employee, every manager believes in it and is not scared about it, not apprehensive about it, is the challenge that I see ahead of us, which we have to break.
Absolutely. I echo your thoughts onto this, Jayati. Moving on to the last one here. When we talk of special categories, do you think women and LGBTQ plus members, or let's just say especially abled members, are being given equal opportunities here? If not, how can we do this?
Good question there again, Sukriti. There's a strong business case for diversity. We all know about it. If we don't build in diversity, the risks are too high. Women and LGBTQ plus and a lot of companies are on an inclusive journey. Let me share key points here. To build women and LGBTQ plus as a big component of our entire workforce, allyship is a must. Inclusive leadership has to be built. Leaders play a crucial role in actively advocating for and supporting such initiatives. And it's not a 6-month or a year run. It's a continuous run till we reach a point where we are absolutely inclusive and we are diverse in all ways. Therefore, establishing an environment where employees are valued, respected, empowered, feel safe, feel psychologically safe, embrace and are able to be authentic themselves at the workplace is important. So I strongly believe here that allyship, building that leadership which can guide us in that process, are essential to build an environment which is safe and authentic. Authenticity is key to success. Authenticity will actually help us to move forward. An inclusive and diverse workplace fuels innovation, customer centricity, builds a dynamic environment, and it's an environment where we will all enjoy to be coming to work environment and work there. So inclusiveness, making it safe, working towards a leadership which believes and leads it is important to bring in LGBTQ plus and women into as an equal participant in our workforce is absolutely critical.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. I think I've had a fantastic insights that you've shared for, of course, building a great and a future-ready workforce. Couldn't have asked for better insights, actually, from an expert like you who is in and out of business doing this and, strategizing and implementing things which are actually happening on ground. So thank you so much for being a part of our celebrations here.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you today, Shruti. Wish you the success. I believe this is your 10th such event. All success to your organization, and let's make sure that we build the workforce of the future for sure. Thank you.
Guys, no conjuicy in clapping. Come on. We are going to, we are very close to declaring the winners, and the energies cannot be low, right? All right. So now it's time for me to call upon my guests for the second round table, which is on DevRel. Now, DevRel involves normally establishing relations between a company and the IT community. Now, initially, DevRel specialists, were engaged in promoting developer softwares, products among only developers. But over the time, DevRel as a function has begun to be used by businesses to work on the company's brand as an employer. But how does the entire developer relations stand out as a functionality? Is it a career opportunity one can explore? To answer this and much more, guys, please give me a huge round of applause for our guest today, Ms. Vanita Agrawal, Head Digital Engagement Practice EPAM India. Mr. Shubhavrata Chatterjee, Distinguished Architect, Digital and Data Services, Societe Generale Global Solution Center. Mr. Naveen Paramareddy, Multi-Cloud Architect, Technology Director, Thomson Reuters. And Mr. Mandar Chitale, India R&D Site Operations Lead from HP. First of all, thank you so much for being a part of our celebrations this year. We are marking the 10th year of Code Gladiators. And to quickly actually start with the point how this entire DevRel is working and what time of the year that we are actually looking at. I want to know from all four of you that is this a good time that we can actually see to make a career move into the developer relations? Mandar, let's begin with you.
Yes, so thanks Sukriti for asking the question. Yes, I think I can say any time is a good time to get into the developer relations, right? Particularly if you start looking at what my company is doing, right? So essentially, we have a developer relations platform. We have an offering for private cloud. We call it as PCE, the Private Cloud Enterprise, under the brand name of GreenLake. And essentially, we enable two types. One is how developers can leverage that platform using APIs, FAQs, and so on and so forth. And then also there is a test bed where you can move on. In addition to that, I just want to give another twist to developer relations here. So it's just not about developers, but also how do you engage partners, maybe developers who are working with partners, right? And if we add that, then that opens up a very different kind of opportunity, because you are working on products which get enabled on the platform, maybe cloud and all, right? So if you really ask me, opportunities galore, and I also see, specializations in developer relations, wherein you say, hey, for example, if I'm enabling cloud, then you can actually be specialist in specific, so maybe, or if you are enabling the technology on multiple different devices, whether it is a mobile or whether it is a desktop and all, then you actually get specialists which are very focused, so that you can address the issues coming from developers for that specific scenario, right? So I would say, yeah, opportunities galore. Thank you.
Thank you. Naveen?
Hello. Thanks, Shukriti, for having us here, and again, congrats on your 10th anniversary for the TechGig Code Gladiators, and I wish you more success in the coming days. I think we are all living in a very excited period of technology evolution, right? And technology is going in every corner of the world, and it becomes itself a strong case why dev relationships or developer relationships shouldn't be brought into a limelight in every product company, right? In my personal view, I think this is a great time for every technologist to cherish the moments where we are trying to bring the cutting edge tech into almost every space, right? Be it our rural sector, or be it our government policies, be it our IT department, or you probably will find more use cases in the global side, but I'm also looking at how India as a country is also kind of leveraging that. For me, developer relationships is a key area that I think every company should mature. There is already good amount of efforts that every organization is putting, but I think if you keep aside the marketing aspect, as a product innovator, as a technologist, how you can bring your product closer to your the developers, I see three major ways or platforms that developer relationships can leverage. I think this brings the relation why developer relations has to be brought into the limelight. One is the coding platforms, like how we are driving. Another one is the content creations. It could be in various platforms. Other one is community partnerships. And fourth one is collaboration. If you bring all these 4 C's into one space, that's developer relationships. I think this itself is an evolution that every organization has to bring within itself as a practice. And like someone said in the past, I think it also has to be part of their culture on how to kind of bring your products more closer to your customers in a way that it becomes easy for them to adopt and enjoy the moments of working with your products.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you so much. Shubhabrita?
I think, first of all, I would like to thank Sukriti for this opportunity to speak in TechGig. I would say that developer relations is a concept that's still maturing in Indian landscape. It's quite prevalent in the product organizations where there are dedicated roles as product leaders, product managers. So the big tech giants have, if you go to their websites, they have dedicated networks, global networks. Anybody can sign into by just checking. They have chapters globally where a developer can sign in and this thing. These concepts are not there. So while I was doing that, I was thinking, okay, if I want to know more about Aadhaar, if I want to know more about UPI, do I have a chapter to log in? I couldn't find one. Okay, so there is India Stack. How many in this room know about India Stack? I'm not sure. We just know the name. Where is the chapter? Are there meetups being held? How do I know? So there is tremendous opportunity in Indian landscape also, but I think there is a lot of, I hope we're going to talk deep dive as we speak in this chapter. There are some communication mechanisms going to talk. So that's my thought. I think we have a great way forward in this domain itself.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
thank you, Sukriti. Thank you, everybody. And speaking last, kind of you figure out what's left to be talked about. Thank you, everybody. And to some of the points almost already covered, right? So there are 3 aspects of 3 kind of companies that we work with today, right? One are pure product companies, Google, SAP, Salesforce of the world. Then there are IT services companies, the Infosys, Capgemini, EPAMs of the world. And then there are platform organizations. I'm differentiating a little bit between platform and product companies because companies like Amazon today, for example, right? They might have smaller products, and we're not talking about hardware. We're talking about some software products as well. But if you go and shop today at Amazon.in, that itself is a platform. It's a huge platform, and the number of developers they have behind that platform is a big number as well. Now, a lot of you will already be aware of what's a product owner. So, being a dev-rel relationship or a developer relationship, building that community, building relationships with your developers, kind of takes you to the next level. It kind of adds the dimension of your product engineering with what you are having a product mindset and product owner mindset. So it's the next level, and why I would say is the right time to begin now is I think it needs to mature for a bit, and if you don't start today, it might be late. Last 10 years has seen India having a lot of GCCs, a lot of captives, a lot of developer center of these product organizations open up. Now, it's the right time for these kind of roles to now start in India. It will need a certain level of maturity for you guys to reach there. So hence I would say if you start today, you're very well positioned to take on those responsible and bigger positions in 3-4 years of time. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinita. So that being said about the current situations and if this is the right time, continuing with this, when we talk of DevRel, teams, they don't just focus on technology but solely evangelize a company's technology as well. Do you think developer relations is actually less marketing and more collaboration now?
Short answer is yes. A little bit longish answer. Think of you buying a product from the market, right? Now, you've bought an iPhone. You've bought an iPhone because it's been marketed superly well. How have you rated it? How have you reviewed it? That's where the developers come into play. So the developers can be equated to the consumers here, right? So that's the collaboration bit. Now, if your product is good, your rating is good, your reviews are good, it kind of goes back and helps the marketing teams as well. So definitely is a lot more in developer relationships for collaboration rather than just saying marketing, and it's much more than that. Going back to my earlier point of how these collaborations can increase more. Today, it's a no-brainer. A lot of the product companies, may it be Salesforce, SAP, Adobe's of the world, they have their dedicated relationship centers set up. So all the development events that you go to, the trailblazers of Salesforce, etc., they're all a part of the DevRel community that is being formed. What DevRel eventually wants to do, think of it this way, is that they want to make their developer community an advocate of the product itself. So tomorrow when you guys are architects, and some of you might already be there today, and you're being asked to choose a solution, you might come up and say, I like SAP better, I like Adobe better, I like Salesforce better. It's because you understand the product well. Somebody from the product company has spent time with you to explain the product roadmap, the idea of what we are building and why we are building. So that's a no-brainer. Today, that field already is quite mature in a lot of product companies. Where there is more space for collaboration today is how the platform companies and the IT services company talk. So I'm a part of EPAM. EPAM has a we call ourselves product development services company. We don't call ourselves IT services company. Historically, because EPAM has done a lot of product development and also because we have a product mindset. Now, when I am working with various products, many products together, right? In an IT landscape, you would have SAP, Adobe, Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, everything together. Now, these platforms or products separately have no clue that if they need to together work in a collaborative way, then what are the extensions of the product they can do? So trying to build a cross-platform, plugins, for example, or how to make these products work together, that's a lot of collaboration and an opportunity today that I see in the DevRel world. Should increase not just the maturity and understanding of how these products work better within the developer community, but it also gives a lot of opportunities for products to make their product more ready to use in a larger IT landscape. That's one part. Now, all the product companies, they're obviously still making products, but the users of those companies are all the IT services companies. Do they understand how to bring in the industry element into the products that they build? Some bit, yes. You will find a lot of health clouds, retail clouds, etc. coming in. But still, having developers in the IT services company working on these products, understanding what kind of customization is needed in those products, and then imagine having a DevRel person within my organization working directly, let's say, with SAP or Salesforce or Adobe, and telling them that, guys, these are the industry flavors you should probably bring in your product, because it's not a one-way road anymore, right? Initially, DevRel was thought about as product companies bringing their own developer communities, their portals where people would come and discuss the bugs, a better way of doing things. That's all DevRel relationship was. Now it has gone one level up. It's become a two-way road. So you can talk to your developers, you can tell them what's coming up, and then the developers go back with a lot of feedback to the products as well. That is where I think the IT services have a lot of role to play, and that's where I say more collaboration will come up, and I'll say more roles will come up. The second part, and maybe Subhuta and Naveen can add to it. Again, going back to my Amazon example, right? They're huge platforms in themselves. Now, when a platform becomes as huge as that, it becomes very, very complicated. And then not all extensions to that platform is easy for anybody to understand. A lot of people that you speak to in such organizations, they're doing a lot of work, but do they understand a very, very, 0.01% of the part that I am building or the plugin that I am writing, how does it fit into the larger picture? Or is there a way that I can kind of club, these parts, smaller parts of the product better to make the whole platform a little bit less complicated? I don't know if that's happening today. So for me, the other option or the other, a lot of this DevRel opportunities will arise will also be when everybody from the platform's perspective also starts to mature up and feel that we can actually decomplicate our platforms and bring a lot of speed into it. Today, because the products have become, or platforms have become so complicated, till the time you take the feedback from grounds up, you're not really sure, what are we doing and how can we decomplicate the whole process. So that is another thing for me, the collaboration from the platform organizations who have millions and millions of users. If they have DevRel teams within their organizations, that itself would also decomplicate the process, hopefully, speeding up the process and make them understand that what does our developer community think about the platform that we are building. Sukriti, that's my take on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinita. Thank you so much. I think that this will actually build on to my second question, which is for Shubhaprito. The future of DevRel is increasingly, digital, and building resources that can reach a global audience is also very essential. Now, do you think there is a need for evolution in current communication methods, especially after the emergence of AI chatbots like ChatGPT?
Yeah, I will take a few steps back first, talk about some of the communication mechanisms. Like what I've seen, there is a need to build incubation hubs. I'm just calling it quote-unquote incubation hubs, which is a collaboration between premier institutions of India. I'm talking about Indian context here, the likes of IITs, IIITs, and NITs, and also along with the organizations, big corporates, and of course you, which are the developer community. I've seen that happening in cities in India where organizations they sponsor programs in IoT, AI. They sponsor programs. They invite developers, and the facilities are provided by another. So it's a group of 3-4 entities which are coming together and providing that so I'm calling it an incubation hub, which does not exist in many, but it exists in few cities, at least in India. So there is a need for doing that. Traditional, I think Vanita was talking about platforms and then IT services companies. So IT services companies, along with global capability centers, GCCs or global innovation centers, GICs, they're more and more coming up. I think there is a great opportunity for GCCs, GICs, and IT services companies to also become part of those incubation hubs, so that product development does not limit it to. So that's part one, incubation hub. Second ones, I think I'll talk about marketplace. Second concept is marketplace. So it's How many of you, I'm not sure, have heard about open banking APIs? Open banking started from Europe. It started as a concept, now it's a regulation. So if you search in internet, you will find there are banks in Europe who are providing sandboxes for developers. You go that marketplace. So imagine you have an app which is developed using open banking APIs. You go and build your developer apps and then sell it in the marketplace. Now you have communities. Imagine you sell that on Amazon, Google, Microsoft, or any of the, or to the financial organization itself, right? So you, by knowing the technologies is not enough. You know the marketplace. You go to that marketplace, develop and contribute to them, right? Like the open source marketplace. So that's the second medium that you can adopt. The third one, of course, hackathons and meetups. I have personally been to meetups. That's of course very important. And I think initial part I was talking about the big tech giants. They have these chapters. Very exciting. Just sign up to the chapters and become part of that. So these are the communication mechanism I think can be used. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhabrata. Now, we need to distinguish, right? There are terms like we use, like software and developers, and they're inherently very broad. And so is developer relations, I must quote. It is proven to be an effective method for companies to evangelize their products through, the communication method that Shubhabrata just mentioned. But are we expecting to see some increasingly specializations in DevRel? And Naveen, do you think that with every company being a tech company today, the scope of DevRel jobs and demand for developer evangelists will see an upward trend?
Thanks, Shukriti, for this question. It's a very important one. I think a lot of tech companies are doing the DevRel. They give different titles and different names to it, but I think they are pretty active. But it's also important for a lot of companies which are emerging to kind of establish that practice in their own respective organizations, be it startups or be it probably stealth companies or whatever you take, right? Like I think it's important to establish that culture, and definitely I see DevRel jobs will trend. I think there will be more focus on how we embrace, or we enable the developers to embrace the products that we offer to them in a way that it goes to wide spectrum of people, that kind of not many people will have the ability to kind of go and attend a meetup, but probably they might be in a place where YouTube is maybe a platform for them, which and a lot of tech companies, they do blog posts, or they do announce, and they do kind of run working sessions as well. I think these all contributes back to the same purpose of what a dev relationships professional should be doing. I think it's important for them to identify what those platforms are. Like some of the top companies, they also go to Coursera to launch their, right? But it's not probably everybody would go and afford and then buy them. But I think it's also important for them to kind of establish their presence in various platforms where emerging developers or community, be it college graduates or undergraduates or research fellows, are more comfortable to get into. I think establish those platforms in those areas, and making sure that there is an active voice bringing the essence of what product they are offering to the developers to consume those in a much easier way. I think it's to kind of build that relationship and be a strong advocate. I think there is definitely a strong growth that I see in that field.
So Kriti, if I may, maybe a little bit of tangent, right? So I was just having a call with some of my architects a while back, and everybody talks about Gen AI right now, right? So they started talking about the offerings that can be made in AI and Gen AI for the DevRel. So they started thinking that you have all these platforms, and a lot of that is still dependent on one person, the relationships, the team that holds relationships, to take out the feedback from what this whole community, think today Java community, I can't even imagine how big that community would be, right? And it's not India only, it's like global, right? So they started talking about the offerings that can be built in the DevRel area by some of the technologists in AI and in Gen AI, so that the feedback that it's collated from this huge group can automatically, start to draw trends, suggestions, predictive product ideas, reducing complexity and all that. Not really the DevRel work itself it will do, but the output of DevRel would hugely increase if today there are offerings, and I don't know if there are today, I don't think so, but if those offerings start to materialize, then the takeaway from this DevRel and the ROI of the DevRel would be so much more visible for everybody to see on the table.
Thank you, Vinita. You've actually touch-based the very next question that I had for Mandar when it comes to calculating the matrices, We generally put, invest into certain things, calculating the ROIs, as you mentioned. Now, Mandar, the elephant in the room for any DevRel team is always the matrices, right? How do we actually measure if you're doing a good job or if you're actually having an impact of the developer relations outside?
Okay, so I think the simple answer is dollars, right? So how many dollars are you enabling? And essentially it will boil down to like some of the panelists were mentioning, right? One, how many services are getting onto the platform, right? Or are you building on top of, because sometimes what happens is that it's a collaboration, right? So that collaboration can be that you are leveraging somebody else's service and then building on top of it, right? So that can be, it can be that, but finally it does boil down to the number of the dollars for the company perspective. It does also boil down to the interactions or the amount of buzz that you see. So it can be like, for example, you have a Slack community, right? And how much is the traffic which is getting generated and what kind of traction do you see? I think I would say those two would be the key. Rest all, anyway, you can put many other matrices like, how many conferences we end up doing and how many meetups we have and so on and so forth. But I think the two key factors would be definitely the dollar figures and the traction.
Thank you so much, Mandar. Continuing with this, since I have had my set of questions from each one of you, I would want to close this conversation with one little bit of closing remarks, and let's begin with you, Vinita, from this side.
Thank you for the opportunity, first of all. For me, DevRel is not just about, collaboration. It's about the value add it brings. It's an investment initially, and I think imagine you being in a role where you have the power and to make a difference to the product and how it is shaped. I think it's a great product with a great idea, great career path with a lot of future. And I'm glad that we are talking about it, with such experts from the industry. Thank you, Sukriti.
Thank you, Vinita. Shubhabrata?
I think we are at the cusp where with the expansion of startups, it's a very big market and for everyone. So going back to the point, the companies can now go to the market, to the developer community and offer their products and services in the form of capsules where each entity can understand each other, what the products, and the developer can also feedback to that. And I think, I'm hoping that this developer relations rule that we're talking about becomes a mainstream with this, evolution. It becomes mainstream in the market in India. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shubhabrata. Naveen?
I think I want to reiterate pretty exciting times for everyone and a lot of innovations coming out, and I think probably this is the best time where I think companies should kind of invest in the developer relationships, bring strong advocates, ambassadors of their products, more closer to the developers, more closer to the next generation of developers who are coming out of their colleges, universities, or from their research. I think it allows them to kind of not only establish themselves, but also an investment that kind of brings value, not only in terms of the money, but also in terms of the brand value. I think we really can't measure things that comes out of that, right? And also the popularity factors, right? So I think a lot of things probably there is no way that we can kind of measure in this space, but I think as we move on, we will be able to identify more metrics that can bring what you see as a value of a developer relationships. But I think it's the right time companies should focus on enabling these developer relation roles and people to kind of step forward and then bring organizations much closer to the audience.
Thank you so much, Naveen. Mandar?
Thanks. So just to add to what others are saying, I think you can just imagine this as a developer plus plus, right? So you have a skill which you carry, which is a core skill, and then a developer relation actually adds value to that, because you start understanding how market forces are working and how they are reacting and what kind of requirements they have. So I think that's what my take is. Exciting times. If you are interested in a developer plus plus kind of environment, developer relations.
Thank you. That was so crisp and straight. Thank you. Thank you so much once again for your valuable time, Mandar, Naveen, Shubhavrata and Vanita. Thank you so much. I had a great time with this conversation. Thank you. Guys, the energy is going low. Come on. Okay, so I think we're about to enter the time where we will know the winners. For those of you who are waiting here, thank you for your patience. Are you guys excited? I really can't hear any faces, nothing. No? Are you? I can't hear you. Even if you're saying a yes. Okay. So now after clearing up. With this, we are moving towards the most awaited moment that you all have been waiting for, the prize distribution ceremony. It's a sensational moment for all of us, right? And we all have joined to witness the finale of the world's biggest coding event today. So do, all of you, I'm sure you've done this, but again, do type in #ComeCodeConquer and #CodeGladiators 2023 at your several social media accounts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and tag TechGig to let everyone know that you're actually witnessed this mega edition of Code Gladiators as we are hitting the 10 years mark today. Okay, so to start with, our first set of awards tonight is actually the Coding Powerhouse Award. And I have this honor of announcing the awards tonight for the Coding Powerhouse. The second runner-up of the Coding Powerhouse for the best coding talent is Coldroot IT Consultancy India Private Limited. Can we please have a huge round of applause for the company? All right, the first runner-up here when it comes to the Coding Powerhouse for the best coding talent is Harris Computer. And now, the champion of the Coding Powerhouse is All-State India Private Limited. Can we have a huge round of applause? To declare the winner's name for the Microsoft GitHub Copilot Hackathon.
Thank you, Sukriti. I am delighted to announce the first set of awards for Microsoft Theme Hackathon. Let's start with the declaration of second runner-up, and the award goes to
Congratulations, Mahesh.
Let's see who is the first runner-up. And the award for first runner-up goes to
Congratulations, Gungun.
Now, time to announce the champion of Microsoft GitHub Copilot Hackathon. And the champion is
Congratulations, Ashok. Okay, now it's time for us to announce the awards for the second hackathon partnered with Dockery, which was on machine learning. I would like to invite Vishal Anand, VP Engineering and Data Science from Dockery.
Hello everyone, I am Vishal Anand, VP Engineering and Data Science at Dockery, which is a physician-only platform offering a cutting-edge solution to programmatically reach healthcare professionals. Its proprietary Physician Identity Resolution Technology, SPN, allows brands to showcase the right information to the right physician at the right moments based on their specialty, location, and professional interest. The problem statement shared for the hackathon, which was identification of healthcare professionals and their specialization, aims to find an approach or solution which can enhance our current algorithm. The response to the hackathon was great, and we had hundreds and thousands of submissions, out of which 12 were shortlisted for the grand finale. And we had a great time and great experience with TechGig. And also I'd like to congratulate TechGig for celebrating 10 years of Code Gladiators. And I wish it continues for many more years. And now it's time to announce the winner. And the second runner-up award goes to
Congratulations, Prashik.
the first runner-up award goes to
Congratulations, Ayush.
And last but not the least, the grand finale winner is
Congratulations, Ashish.
So congrats everyone, all the winners, and TechGig for the hackathon, for the winning of hackathon, and also for organizing this great event for Dockery. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishal. Now, our participants actually come a long way for this well-deserved win, and this is truly a moment of pride for all of us. Before we start with the final felicitation of the open coding round, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to honor the Code Diva of Code Gladiators 2023. To crown the coding diva of this year, I would now like to invite Ms. Vanita Agrawal, Head Digital Engagement Practice, EPAM India.
Thank you, Sukriti. My name is Vanita Agrawal. I lead the digital engagement practice for EPAM India. EPAM is a 34-year-old organization headquartered in Hyderabad in India. We also have centers in Bangalore, Gurgaon, Pune, and Chennai. We are better known for our engineering excellence, the delivery excellence that we bring, and we are proud to call ourselves coders at each level. Our association with TechGig has been long, and we've been working with them for almost 5-6 years now. And every time we've seen the value that it brings. It's a great platform for people across technologies and developers to come together and do a little bit different than what they do in their usual day-to-day activities. Gives them a platform to work on some of the niche skills and gives them the exposure which they may or may not have in their projects. I will take this moment to congratulate TechGig for 10 years of completion of the Code Gladiators competition that they've been hosting. Again, it's a great platform for people to come together and compete and figure out what are the strengths and weaknesses and kind of learn more. I would also like to end this by saying congratulations to the Coding Diva for this year, which is
Congratulations, Ashwarya. Do we have the coding diva here? Ashwarya, if you're around, please come, Guys, itna kanjoosi nahi, please. Can we have a huge round of applause for our coding diva is here with us. It's a big moment for all of us. Our mighty coders, in fact, all of you, have put in a lot of hard work, your heart, your soul to fight this coding war and to find incredible solutions to everything. Now, it's absolutely exciting to witness the energy that all of you, coded throughout the day with. But this is, I think, just the beginning as we're closer to declaring the winners of Code Gladiators 2023. Now, to give away the 4th runner-up award, I would like to invite Mr. Amar Tumbali, co-founder, VP Engineering, Tive.
Hi, Sukriti. Thank you. And I am Amar Tumbali, co-founder and VP Engineering of Tive Networks Private Limited. We are a startup, started in 2019, based in Bangalore, and we work in the space of trust in or data trust in the overall ecosystem. We provide that by a technology called verifiable credential and DIDs, or decentralized identities, using our own ledger network called Cord Network. And it's a India-based blockchain, and it is completely tokenless. There is no crypto or any legal issues on this. So we are a trust platform for your application. Now, coming to hackathons, I want to first congratulate the TechGig team for completing 10 years of Code Gladiators. A really awesome job. 10 years is a long way, shows your dedication and commitment in this field. Now, mentioning hackathon, I just want to take a couple of seconds to tell that they help students to showcase their talent and also gives you visibility into the both job market or wherever you go, right? It is a really good thing to have in your resume. So I really want to congratulate all the participants and winners of this competition. And I myself and we as a company participated in the hackathons. We own a couple of them, and that gave us good business. So hackathon life doesn't end at the student life. You can participate as a company later also. So now with that, I want to call upon 4th runner-up, and the award goes to
Congratulations, Arya. The 4th runner-up of TechGig Code Gladiators 2023, Aryan Chaudhary. Okay, moving on to the next set of award. For this, I would like to invite Mr. Harish Gudi, Senior Vice President Technology from Optum Global Solutions, to join us and honor the 3rd runner-up.
Thank you, Sukriti. Good evening, everyone. I am Harish Gudi, Senior Vice President, Technology at Optum Global Solutions. I am pleased to have the opportunity today to honor the Code Gladiators of 2023. First off, on behalf of the entire team at Optum, I want to start with congratulating TechGig on completing 10 years of Code Gladiators. Like most technology disciplines, programming requires practice and commitment. And by hosting such events, you have created a thriving community of coders that is enabling our future tech leaders to learn, grow, and to create. At Optum, a part of United Health Group, a Fortune 5 company, we believe that the future of healthcare will be characterized by the interplay between people, process, and technology. Our mission is to help people live healthier lives and help make the health system work better for everyone. And we know that only the best and brightest can help us get there. So we are proud of our association with TechGig, and we're sure that our collaboration will inspire leaders of tomorrow to create digital solutions for an equitable future. So now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the third runner-up of Code Gladiators 2023 is
Congratulations you, our third runner-up of Code Gladiators 2023. More closer. Now, may I please invite Mr. Santan Gopalan Padmanabhan, Senior R&D Director, GreenLake Cloud Services and Solutions, HPE, to announce the second runner-up.
Thank you, Sukriti. I'm Santan Padmanabhan. I'm the Senior Director for R&D at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. I lead a cross-geo team that works on private cloud enterprise solution in the GreenLake business unit. A few words about HPE. In the last 3 years, HPE has pivoted to a strategy on offering all our products and solutions in an as-a-service model. All our solutions and products are now cloud-enabled and offered in a pay-per-use model. Our teams have adapted the latest software development tools, methodologies, open source, and that all is enabling us to deliver value quickly to our customers in an agile fashion. We have a pretty open environment that fosters innovation, and we are definitely looking for diverse talent who can come and join us and make a difference. A few words about TechGig. We have been partnering with them for the last couple of years on various initiatives they run, like coding competition, hackathons, etc. Congratulations to TechGig on their 10th edition of Code Gladiators. They're doing a fantastic job in bringing the diverse talent together, giving them the platform to demonstrate their skills, and also have fun on the way. So congratulations, TechGig, once more. And now to announce the second runner-up of the Code Gladiators 2023 competition. It is
Congratulations, Yuri. So Yuri is somebody who's won Code Gladiators for the second time, and he's among the top 4 winners. All right, an inch closer. Before we announce the champion's name of Code Gladiators 2023, I would like to invite Mr. Sanjay Goel, Business Head, TechGig, to give away the award for the esteemed first runner-up.
Thank you, Sukriti. And the very prestigious first runner-up award for TechGig Code Gladiators 2023 goes to
Congratulations, Nishank, the first runner-up of Code Gladiators 2023. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment has come we all have been waiting for. It is the most coveted and prestigious award of the evening. So hold your breath and see if you have got seat belts. You need to fasten them up, right? We're about to know the mighty coder who's claimed the glorious title of the champion of the 10th edition of Code Gladiators. For this, I would now like to invite Mr. Jayanta Mukherjee, Senior Director and R&D Leader, Communications Technology Group, HPE. Okay.
Thank you, Sukriti, and hello, everybody. Great to be with you all. So my name is Jayanta Mukherjee, and I lead the R&D for the Communications Technology Group within HPE. Amongst the different things that we do, our one of the fundamental avenues of our work is really around enabling people and enterprises to get going about their business in the most seamless, automated, and in the most efficient manner. So needless to say, we fundamentally try to, as I said, demystify technology for some of our largest customers in the technology and the telecom space. HPE as a company has been working towards advancing the way people live and work in more ways than one, but primarily through technology. So, we have always prided ourselves as being an edge to core to cloud company, and we bring in technologies in a manner that allow our customers to, generate value out of their businesses in the most significant and the most efficient way. So in order to be able to do all of this, it's clear that we need to have the best and the brightest of talent getting on board to deliver on the promise of technology that we have towards our customers. Platforms like TechGig are, I can't say enough about the role they play in enabling this match between talent and technology within organizational contexts like ours. So congratulations, TechGig, not just for being in the business of running Code Gladiators for almost 10 years now, I think, but in bringing together the right level of talent and marrying them with the right set of problems to enable the industry to benefit, from this mixture, if you will. So again, congratulations to everybody that participated in the 2023 edition of Code Gladiators, and now it is for me to announce the winner for the 2023 version of Code Gladiators. So the winner for Code Gladiators this year is
Congratulations, Jatin, our winner of Code Gladiators. Do we have a winner here? Is he? Okay. So that's it. We're done. Okay. Jokes apart, now I would like to invite Mr. Sanjay Goel, Business Head, TechGig, to conclude this fantastic evening for us. So.
We have known Yuri for Rus then shifted to UK, I guess. So our relationship with the, UK, right? Okay. So our relationship with our winners has been growing now. So it's phenomenal feeling. I mean, like somebody has to take this job of continuously guiding our talent to study, to work hard, and to look for, bigger dreams in the life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we come to the end of our show. And congratulations to all the winners. And I would also like to express our gratitude to all the participants who've made this magnum opus possible. A big thanks to our organizers, TechGig, and our wonderful corporate partners. Our location recruitment partner, HPE, hackathon partners, Microsoft and Docre, diversity hackathon partner, Microsoft, our platinum associate, Infogain, diamond partner, Allstate India, silver participant, special category, IndiaMart, Coolroot Group, and Harris, and our community partners, Silicon India, Google Cloud Developers, Cowork, and Analytic, for being such a great support. Thank you, one and all. Good night. See you next year with another stupendous edition of Code Gladiators. We will celebrate the winning moment. Thank you so much once again for being here, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.